This is the fourth and final part of the four-part video series for electricians with their own business. This video expands on the overall concept that was mentioned in the introduction video before you started watching this series. This fourth and final element in your electrical business is by no means the least. In fact, if you do this, it'll actually multiply your business results. The first three elements will get you so far with your business, but then you'll hit a limit. The fourth element will take the lid off that limit. But this is also the hardest one to get right. So this element is scaling. Now before you say, wait, I'm not interested in scaling, let me explain what I mean by scaling first. For many of you, it might sound like trying to build a big empire of a business. And while that is actually one aspect, many of us just don't want that. But scaling is something that can be applied even to just a one-man band. And it can make a huge difference to the time, money and customer elements that we've already mentioned. Now scaling is about progress and evolving our business, and without this we may become extinct. Because if we don't evolve as things change, then you can bet that your competitors will change. So even if you don't want to be the biggest company in the world, you still have to take this seriously. You see, many electricians just copy off what other electricians are doing, and you've no guarantee that you're copying something effective, no proof of that. It could just be the next silver bullet. Not everybody thinks outside the box, not everybody is at a position where they are now innovative. This is where the expression, be an eagle, not a sheep, comes from. An example of my innovation was when I introduced my online booking system. The reasons for why I did that are covered inside of Electrician's Business Machine. But long story short, when I first tried it, all the so-called experts said that it would never work. Now I had a real reason to get that to work and a real passion behind it. I'm the sort of person that never takes no for an answer, and when someone says it can't be done, I think, watch me. But for months I tried out loads of different systems and variations of it, and the one that finally worked well was the 7th version. Now don't get me wrong, it's not for every customer, some prefer just to call up. But think of supermarkets and their checkout option, think of McDonald's and their fast order option. Not only are those people served faster, but don't you think they're having a better experience? How many times you get a really rubbish experience when you go into a human serving you? All that chatting between each other, taking too long, all that stuff. Before I move on to the next item, I want to point out that my booking system has at times had between 70 to 80% of bookings in 1 week made online, which means that in practice I'm getting bookings made while I sleep or at weekends. This type of option and many others like it are an inevitable part of how disruptions are happening in our businesses now. I'm sure you've heard of artificial intelligence and robot systems. Now none of this is new, but the rate of change is now astounding. Again, the absolute fact is that if you do not evolve, then the others around you will evolve, and that's a threat to you. Now the good news is that customers are getting used to technology and they are looking for the fastest and easiest solutions. Just take a look around, it's all about instant gratification now. Okay, so I hope that made it clear. My main reason for creating Electrician's Business Machine was for my own frustrations and to ensure that our industry in the UK and elsewhere are up to date with all of this and that they can evolve and they can last. I also want to make it super simple for you to learn it and for you to implement it too. Because I expect that that's the most overwhelming part, trying to actually implement it, learn it. There's too many options out there. Which one do you go for? What works with each other? And so there's some even more good news. I'm actually going to put together a membership site, which might be ready by the time you watch this, but it will have all the how-to videos on how to set it up step by step, all of these areas, and using the 7 steps of the Electrician's Business Machine model. So moving on to the next example. We already mentioned in part 1 that jobs should be done in a consistent time. But if you were to hand this over to someone else, would that also be the case? As well as procedures for how to get the right people, do you also have the right procedures for the new people to be able to easily get on and adopt to that job? Are any of your procedures open to misinterpretation? You might understand them all, but if you gave these procedures to your grandma, do you think she could run your business for a week while you went on holiday? But if you don't have clear procedures, communication, systems and support, then who's really to blame? If you take on someone unsuitable, who's to blame? What about HR, contracts, method statements, risk assessments? Are all of these watertight? Are any of your services what you would call bespoke or complicated in some way? If so, how can that bespoke service be turned into something that's more off the shelf and easily customised? Next up, what is the key data in your business? What do you base your decisions on? Do you have immediate access to your important data 24/7 so that you can make important decisions fast? Can complex issues be fixed easily using that data, or are you just winging it? Whether you want to scale your business or not, every electrical business owner should treat the business as if they were going to sell it. There's a really great book on that called Built to Sell by John Warrillow. Essentially, you get your business to the point where you're not needed in it, and so you can have that holiday. If you're ill, it doesn't matter so much. Or even you maybe just want to retire. But the thing is, any investor won't be interested until your business has become that type of asset. An asset that will run without them having to get involved. And so if this is you, what are you going to do to turn your business from being a liability to an asset? And how do you make sure that as your business grows and you take on more people, then you actually make more profit as it grows rather than less? And how do you make sure there's no leaks in your bucket when it comes to jobs and admin, processes and procedures? My 3 years in software engineering, plus my maths and computing degree, made me think about how business and software can go together. But I soon realised that many of the solutions are far too complicated and far too expensive. Many of these solutions will tie in for a year. Many of them are super complicated and need a developer just to get it up and running, let alone make changes. Some cost you a lot of money when you want to add more users as you scale, and others are just complete nightmare to integrate with other systems. Now I've realised that electricians do not need an expensive or complicated system. But I also realise there's no one fits all, and that you have to tie a couple of things together to get what we need for our type of business. Now I've been stung over the years. I've spent a fortune on practically useless systems. I want this to change for our industry. I know how overwhelming this is for a lot of electricians, but I also know that the goalposts keep changing weekly. Now I personally have spent a six-figure sum easily in the last 2 or 3 years just keeping up to date with everything. So the core vision of Electrician's Business Machine is to get as many electricians as possible to understand and implement the solutions that are out there. And so I've finally developed this model which will make it a lot easier for you to understand and get clear on it all. I want to keep everyone on top of all the changes so that you don't have to attend all the events. Finally, I want to build that community so that each and every one of you can help each other as well as me contributing, so that you can grow all of your own businesses too. And because each of us has a different niche, different services, there's no threat of overlapping each other. Now whichever route you decide to go down, I'd love to hear how you get on. I'd love to hear all of your successes, and I'd love to hear all of your questions. Thank you for watching this 4-part video series. It's clear that you're an action taker by getting this far, so I hope that you take this and go further on. I look forward to speaking to you soon. I'm Simon Barker. Thank you for listening.